So understandably, the streaming platform Quibi is looking to make a TV show based off of an already successful film, so they can hopefully gain some cult following. That TV show is called The Fugitive, and it's based off of the film of the same name, starring Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee Jones, Joe Pantoliano, and Tommy Lee Jones won an Oscar for a supporting role in this, and it was a really good movie overall. It wasn't just a basic thriller film that kind of gives you cheap thrills and doesn't have a great storyline or anything. This had a very good dialogue. This had an interesting and well planned out story and plot line, and the direction was good, and it was a generally entertaining film to watch in addition to all those things, which is very helpful. So it's understandable Quibi would want to make a TV show off of that. And that leads me to the main topic for this episode, in that there are a lot of TV shows based off of already successful films, or films that had really interesting ideas. And the main one that I think of as being a big success is Hannibal, which was on NBC for 3 years. And Hannibal has an interesting background, because you have the trilogy of Jonathan Demme films, the Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and then Red Dragon, which were very, very successful, made a lot of money at the box office. And the first of the trilogy, Silence of the Lambs, it won a lot of Oscars, and it's still considered one of the best films ever made. But it doesn't give you the character study of Hannibal Lecter that everyone would want to see. Obviously less is more, and that set up the sequels, which had a lot of Hannibal Lecter in them. But it's a very, very interesting character, Hannibal Lecter, and it's something that deserves revisiting and giving a lot more attention in a project. And that's what Hannibal does, the TV show. And it's surprising also, because NBC was the producer of the TV show and the distributor of it. And network television notoriously waters down what they put out there, because in delivering a homogenous artistic idea, you're allowing for there to be a greater audience and following of the show, because it doesn't cater towards a specific niche group. And if it does that, then you're not going to get the same ratings. And that's what you ended up seeing with Hannibal over the course of its 3 seasons, was that it didn't receive the same level of viewership as, say, a Modern Family or any other show with the same kind of distribution platform, on a network show. And Hannibal did not squander the big budget that a network TV show gets. Hannibal was able to make very interesting set pieces, create beautiful dialogues and character development, and general nuances of conversation. Hannibal, I think, out of all television shows to garner a cult following, which Hannibal certainly has gained, and it's taken off since it's got onto Netflix. It's been 5 years now since the last season aired, and it once it came to Netflix, that was its big league debut, essentially, because that's when people discovered it and were able to stream it and binge it all. And although it was on Amazon Prime before, there's just something about when a show hits Netflix where it's kind of like, okay, you hit the big time. And with Hannibal, people were able to finally see that, wow, this is a really well-made show. Wow, the showrunner did an incredible job with symbolism and all this odd surrealist stuff that happens in dreams, and there's so many very complex and deep aspects of Hannibal, the TV show, that you don't see normally, not just in a network television show, but in any television show, including the premium ones on HBO and Showtime and Starz. And it's very difficult to find something with production quality this high. And the fact that it's on NBC is astonishing, or was on NBC was astonishing, but neither here nor there, when you just have to say, this is a great piece of art right here. This is a great piece of television. This is something that's entertaining for, both people that are, film buffs such as myself, and just someone looking for a casual TV show that they can really sink their teeth into and enjoy. And Hannibal is 100% that, because Mads Mikkelsen, who plays Hannibal, and he's the actor who a lot of people, they know the face of, but they don't know the name of. He's fantastic. He was, the bad guy back in Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, who was, he would bleed, he would like a tear, and he's a fantastic actor. He's a huge star in Danish cinema, which means nothing for most people, but he's a very good actor. He has the credentials to bring a character like Hannibal Lecter to life, and he does that. He does that, I think, better than Anthony Hopkins in a lot of ways. One, he humanizes the role. I mean, obviously Hannibal Lecter is not someone that you can look at and say, okay, I can understand where he's coming from. I've been in the same place. The man is a genius psychiatrist, cannibal, serial killer. That's hard to relate with. But there's just something about Mads Mikkelsen's performance that makes it a very, very enthralling and just enigmatic person. You can look at it and say, like, oh wow, that's like Andrew Carnegie. I mean, obviously, Andrew Carnegie wasn't a cannibal, or at least I hope he wasn't. But there's just something about Mads Mikkelsen's performance that he's able to capture the nuances of conversation and the creation of personas that we have. Because obviously Hannibal is not a normal person. If you were going to engage in that kind of I think it's best in the way that they described it in Mindhunter, vocation of hunting people. If you're doing that, you're not going to be a normal person. But they're able to show how he masks his actions, how he masks his crimes and his insidious deeds with his intellectual circles that he runs in, with his hosting of dinner parties, which guests unwittingly consume, other people in. And it's just, it's a very, very interesting character study, and you have a fantastic actor fulfilling that role, which is perfect, because oftentimes these character studies, you put a big name actor within that role, and you're thinking more of like, oh wow, they're doing a great job, more than you are thinking about the character. And that's what I think Hannibal does a great job of, is they give you someone who is an incredible actor, but you aren't thinking about the actor, you're thinking about the character. And it's not until you've watched the show, you've digested everything that it has to offer, where you realize Mads Mikkelsen's a really good actor. This is a fantastic performance. And Hannibal, I think, it's one of the best, if not the best, TV shows of all time. Granted, the first season has sort of a procedural aspect to it, where they're investigating crimes, and it's a new crime each episode, but that's only for the first 7 episodes. The 8th episode is where it takes a dramatic shift, and it goes from following all these crimes to there's a crime, but then it ties back directly to someone that's interested in Hannibal's quote unquote work, and it just goes from there. From episode 8 of season 1, it just goes from there. And even the procedural episodes were interesting, because there's still the character study of Hannibal Lecter and his companionship with Will Graham, and their involvement with the FBI, and how it plays out with catching serial killers in items like that. And it's very interesting, because like gangster films or crime films, we have an innate fascination with crime things in terms of like murders and serial killers and stuff like that. And with Hannibal, we both get that, but we also get a fantastic character study. And Mads Mikkelsen, again, he's my Hannibal Lecter. I never thought I would say anyone besides Anthony Hopkins is my Hannibal Lecter, but Mads Mikkelsen does a fantastic job. What he gives you in this role is something that we haven't seen anywhere else, because I think Anthony Hopkins does a great job capturing the scope of the character and just how big a deal he is, because you feel the gravitas when he's on screen. You feel like this is a force to be reckoned with. This is like a hurricane or a tornado of a human being that will rip through you without a second's notice. And Anthony Hopkins does a fantastic job of illustrating that, of showing that to you. But with Mads Mikkelsen, you have that, but you also have the devastating ability that Hannibal has, because what you get in the films is the air of what he was able to do. And while you also get instances of, seeing him in action, the TV show itself shows him in his prime. It shows him on the hunt. It shows him before he is known to be what he is. It shows him before he is captured. It shows him as a wildly successful psychiatrist in all these posh, circles with fancy people, and he's just operating there. He's working. He's advising the FBI in certain cases, or consulting rather, but he's living this other life. And Will Graham, their friendship turns to rivalry, turns to this odd pairing of one another, where they know exactly what each one wants and is, but they're dancing around the dangers of their relation. It's odd. It's a very odd dynamic between Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter, and the show it doesn't miss a beat in exposing our weakness for that, and seeing unconventional relationships. It's like the dolphin and the dog. We want to see the cute relationship between these two animals. It's the same thing with characters on TV. We want to see unconventional characters working together in ways that we wouldn't normally see them, and that gives us more, I guess, intriguing points of plot that could potentially come up, or it's just entertaining to see two wildly different individuals working together. And with that, you get that in Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal's just any itch that you're looking to scratch with a TV show that gives you a good story, excellent acting, or just can be generally interesting study of human interactions, because I think Hannibal does the best job out of any TV show or film of capturing the nuances of conversation, because you see people actively, their wheels turning, and they, the intros to conversations where someone wants to ask something. They want to ask a big favor of someone, but they have to have niceties like, "Oh, how are you today?" And then make some jokes, and then say, "I love this painting. Did you do this yourself? This is incredible." And then they get to the point. Hannibal, there's some way in the filming of the characters' facial reactions and their interactions with other characters in conversations, where you can see the inner workings of a conversation, where it's captured in a way that nothing else has done it before. And I think that goes to Brian Fuller, for his incredible show running of Hannibal, and his ability to capture those nuances. It's incredible. And if you're looking for a good TV show, if you're looking for something that every episode feels like a movie, look no further than Hannibal.